respect it, I mean, we network across the globe, cause it's a global market in case you didn't know. And since we all about information flow, let me be the first one to welcome you to Tech Zone with Paul Amadeus Lane. Let's talk tech, cause technology changing the game. It's all good in the hood, it's everywhere. Now let's get to the show, cause we live on air, yeah.
Okay, I am so sorry we're back here on the Tech Zone. You know, I have just started mess on social media about the drones. I'm sorry. That's something that we have to be cognizant of. People who misuse drones. I love drones. I'm going to have a drone so I can say, send in the drones. I'm going to have one. So I'm not talking bad about the drones. I'm just saying that it's something that we have to think about. Ones who misuse drones. And at the event that I'm going to be at in a few weeks in Silicon Valley, there's actually going to be some talk about drones, so you don't want to miss that. Every once in a while, something comes across my radar that I think it's so transcending that I want everyone to know about.
I'm Ron Griffin with IamLive.com, the U.S. division of NetStares, and we are enjoying this conference. We're a Silicon Valley tech company, and we were reading about the conference. we were reading about the conference, and I thought, this is a perfect conference for me. You know, I'm a black entrepreneur in the Silicon Valley with a new technology, and I would love to meet with everybody, especially my brethren from the East Coast and all around the country. So this event for me has been stellar. It's worth 10 times what we paid to come to this event today. I've met so many people doing so many interesting and innovative things. Not just me, but a lot of people doing things, working together genuinely to help each other, which is what I'm finding maybe different than most of the conferences you go to. Everybody's on the same page, and everybody wants to help each other get to the next level. And I think that's what's made this, for me, a very special event.
Black Enterprise Magazine. It's a great piece of work out there. Great articles. Their tech section is, hands down, in my opinion, one of the best out there. The tech editor, Samara Lynn, is just so knowledgeable. I get smart when I talk to her. I'll tell you a story about me and Samara. She was on one of the morning shows that I used to host from another station about 3 or 4 years ago. We talked about Wi-Fi connectivity. And I saw YouTube on her, so I reached out to her on Twitter and said, hey, I'm having this problem. I'm sure everyone else will have this problem. She brought the house down. And when I moved over to my new media outlet, I wanted to reach out to her and have her on and talk about tech issues. So for about a year and a half, I was trying to search for her. And finally on LinkedIn one day, it said, hey, do you know this person? I'm like, there she is, Samara. So I reached out to her. She and I, start connecting again. And I decided to invite her on. And she is going to talk to us about this great event happening in Silicon Valley. You don't want to miss it. The beautiful Samara Lynn. How are you, my dear?
I'm fine, Paul, and I'm so glad we reconnected.
Yes. So what you been doing? I see you over at a new post now. Tell me about the excitement of being a tech editor over at Black Enterprise Magazine.
Oh, yeah, I love it. I've been there about a year, and I'm still doing a lot of stuff that I did at my previous position. I get to test the new tech, write, news stories. But there's another layer with Black Enterprise, and that's I really get to cover the issue and the problem with diversity and inclusion in technology. So I'm really loving it. It's probably one of the most important positions I've had.
I'm glad to hear that because, in my journey of the tech show, I've been trying to really highlight the diversity in tech or the lack of diversity. And we see now that a lot of women in tech and women of color are really changing the game out there. Is that some of the things that you've seen too?
They sure are. I mean, I can tell you probably a couple of times a day, I get some great pitches from women of color from all over the country who are, founding these amazing tech startups. And I mean, it's mind blowing. And no one's really covering them except us.
That's true. That is so true. Had a chance to talk to Dan Golden. He used to be a NASA chief, and he started his new startup company. And it's one of those moments. As a journalist, you probably have dealt with this too. When someone of that stature, talks to you, former NASA chief, and says, "I am so glad your program exists." You're like, "Huh? What? Really?" And it's good when one see the value of what we cover out there, because it is an underrepresented class out there.
Oh, sure. And I mean, for everybody, and just even, I probably get a message on Twitter or Facebook, and just from people who are in school, who are studying engineering, who are trying to launch startups, and they're just like, thank you for giving us a voice and a platform. Thank you for highlighting Black tech founders, because, it inspires me as a student or someone who wants to be an entrepreneur. So I totally get what you're saying.
Well said. So, hey, let's talk about this great event that's happening October 10th and 11th. You can do it more justice than I can. Well, what are we going to have at this event?
Well, this is our Black Enterprises TechConNEXT Technology Summit. It's our annual tech conference, and it's really to highlight Black Silicon Valley, all of the great Black founders, the Black researchers, scientists, entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, and the people who may not be Black, but who have vested interest in diversifying Silicon Valley. We all come together for these 2 days, and we just talk tech and innovation and opportunity. And that's actually what our theme is. It is the intersection of innovation and opportunity.
I love that. I love that name. I love that title. And
Yeah.
what has been some of the, I guess, feedback that you have gotten once you guys decided to launch this event?
The feedback has been tremendous. We have people are so first of all, you have startups who are just launching their tech companies. They're having a problem, as we all know. A lot of Black tech founders have a problem getting investment capital. They're so grateful that they're given a platform, whether it's to network with a VC who's interested in funding specifically minority businesses. They get guidance. They can network with other entrepreneurs. We're going to have an innovation lab where we're going to actually have these Black-owned tech startups demo their products so other entrepreneurs and venture capitalists and investors and academics can see them. So, I mean, we've had tremendous feedback, on this event. So
That's awesome. Now, who should attend this event? Is this something for someone who's, sits around, plays video game all day and be like, hey, I just want to go to this event? The event is tailor made for whom?
So there's something for everybody. And definitely, if you're the type who's just really a tech enthusiast and you want to see more people who look like you in tech, you'll love it. You'll love the demos. We're going to have drone demos and all these cool things in the innovation lab. We're going to have an engineer who works, actually a scientist who works for NASA, who helped build the Mars robot rover. So you'll get a great thrill out of that. If you're an entrepreneur, you definitely want to be here. We're going to have Lo Tony, who's like one of the premier venture capitalists in Silicon Valley, and he's with Google Ventures. We're going to have a lot of people looking for investors, and just a lot of people who just want to help, really diversify and make Silicon Valley a level playing field.
And I really feel that you guys have really touched on something that really should have been done a long time ago, but it took a great organization like Black Enterprise, to really take on this. And when did you guys decide you wanted to do this? Is this the first one, or is this the second one? When did you guys know you wanted to do this?
So this is our second event, but Black Enterprise has been around for 40 years, and it's got a legacy of these wonderful events like Women of Power Summit and Entrepreneur Summit. And people associate Black Enterprise with Black corporations and Black wealth. And as we continued our coverage in the last recent years, we started to notice that almost every sector of business now has something to do with technology. I mean, technology is no longer this separate entity unto itself. If you want to be competitive, you have to have some aspect of tech in your business, whether you have a marketing business, you're a social media expert, or you're running a big corporation. And we decided technology is such an imperative that we would dedicate an entire event to it.
I am so glad that you guys have Samara, and what I like too is that you have things geared for students too,
Oh,
which I think is amazing. And let's talk about that.
yeah, so we canvass all of the HBCUs for the top engineering and computer science students, and then what we do is we during the 2 days of the event we have them all converge and meet for a hackathon. And while the students aren't just, they're hacking away for almost near 2 days, but they're also getting the opportunity to go on tours. They're going on tours to the AT&T labs. They're doing a couple of other great events with some of our other sponsors, and they're getting great guidance on creating resumes and pitching and branding themselves, and just learning how to really market themselves for a career in Silicon Valley. So what we're doing is we're letting them exercise their technical skills, but we're also really helping them with their soft people skills and giving them a chance to meet the movers and shakers in Silicon Valley so that they have that connection and they're already in the pipeline when they graduate.
You know,
And that really is a real fundamental aspect of our event.
that is spot on, because nowadays it's so hard for ones to really get in to an industry unless they really know somebody, or build up a rapport with ones.
Right.
You know, when you and I were growing up, we put a resume in, we got an interview, we can nail that job. But nowadays it's like the decision makers want to feel comfortable with you, and
Right.
they want to know you. So if they know you when you're a student, as soon as you get out, you keep in contact with them. You keep your social media clean.
Right.
Don't do anything that's going to tarnish the brand.
And we're actually going to give a workshop on that because that's really important. I mean, if you're a kid, I was born in East New York, or if you're coming from Alabama, you're an HBCU, you're not familiar with the ins and outs of Silicon Valley culture. So this way we can help, bridge that gap and introduce these students to people who are there and who have a vested interest in helping them succeed.
Well said. Well said. And when it comes to like the agenda for the event, there's some heavyweights that are sponsoring this event. Toyota is hosting a couple events. Who are some of the other companies out there that have
Oh yeah,
come on
I mean,
board?
we're just so grateful for our sponsors. We have Toyota, as you mentioned. We have AT&T. We have Dell and EMC. We have Prudential Financial. I'm sure I'm missing more, but they're all listed on our agenda online, and we are just so grateful to them. I mean, it takes money to make progress and make change. And without this sponsorship backing, it would be very hard for us to even, bring this opportunity, to Silicon Valley.
So Samara, this sounds amazing. Now, if ones would like to attend this event, how can they do so?
So if you go to blackenterprise.com/TCS, or if you just Google Black Enterprise and TechConNEXT, that's TechConnext, you'll see the full page of all the details on the events. And you really want to check out the agenda and the speakers. You can see right there, we have Tristan Walker, who's the CEO of Walker and Company. He's got this amazing product, Bevel. It's a shaving system designed for people with coarse hair, to fight razor bumps. And Tristan comes from Silicon Valley. He was with Twitter. He was with Foursquare. He's going to be in a one-on-one session. He's going to be lending his insight. And of course, we have Ryan Leslie, who's famous entertainer and record producer. And he has his own tech company called Superphone, which is this amazing messaging platform system that does all these great things. And we're so happy, Paul, you're going to join us to moderate the session with Ryan, and it should just be really fabulous.
And I thank you for making that happen. I had a chance to talk to Ryan today. We had our little session before we for the event, and this technology that he has is going to change the game. And when, a lot of people, I've had this discussion before with many people in the tech field. We used to equate technology with just electronics. Now, technology has just mushroomed into this cloud that covers everything. No more consumer electronics. Now it's consumer technology. You talked about the razor bumps. You know, who would have thought that there would be an innovation for that? And I think we're living in a time where we got some pretty brilliant people out there with these tech startup companies.
It's amazing. And the fact is, a lot of this brilliance is coming from our community. There's this one young man, he's going to be demoing in our innovation lab at TechConNEXT. He has a product called Clean Collar, and it's this high-grade silicone collar that is an insert for a suit, for a collared shirt for men or women, and it essentially prevents you from getting ring around the collar. And it cuts down on, you don't have to dry clean your shirts all the time. And right now he's working on making it into wearable technology where it would sense your, your vital statistics. And also he's going to make a military grade where people would wear it with their uniform, like military people, and it would pick up any changes in like the environment, like if there's carbon monoxide in the air. I mean, it's just amazing the things that I'm covering and hearing, and that's coming from these Black tech founders and engineers.
It's amazing, and that's one thing I really appreciate about you when we first met. Just your enthusiasm that you have for tech. And have you always been kind of a tech girl? Was tech always something that you always gravitated to?
Oh boy, my first tech thing I got was when my father bought me an Atari. I don't think I came out the house again. That was when I was about 11. I probably didn't leave the house till I was about 18. After I got that, and
got
my first computer. That was it.
And to see where technology has come from, the Atari, where Pac-Man, how it used to look, and then they remember it was the 2600, then it was the 5200, right. then Nintendo, Super NES, Sega Genesis, all that. To see where we're at today, and one thing I really appreciate about this event too. Is even going to touch on VR and augmented VR, which I think is something we really need to discuss.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're going to have Microsoft is also one of our sponsors, and they're definitely going to touch on this HoloLens technology, which essentially is this augmented reality they're positioning it as a way that we're going to be able to pretty much teleport ourselves, our virtual selves, for example, into the office. And I urge your audience to really go to YouTube and search for HoloLens, Microsoft. Your mind will be blown by this tech, and we're going to have sneak peeks of that at TechConNEXT.
So that means, Samara is in New York. I am in California. So when we put the goggles on, she and I can sit down and have some. Now I'm sound like a New Yorker. Now we can have some coffee, right? That's what we can do, right?
Have some coffee. Some coffee talk.
Absolutely, that's what we can do, and we can hang out. And Samara, let's talk about how ones can connect with you and find out some of the great articles, that you have put to paper or put to electronic paper on Black Enterprise, the website. Some stunning articles. I encourage everyone to check them out. How can they connect with you?
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, I mean, you can follow me on Twitter at Samara Lynn. And Black Enterprise, the tech channel, we have a lot of great channels, finance, business, blackenterprise.com. And I'm always on Twitter. It's easy to find me on Twitter.
Yes, and she puts out some really funny tweets. Non-offensive tweets, just really funny tweets, and you guys got to follow her. She put one out the other day when the debates were going on. It was just funny. It had Minecraft. It was funny. It had me just rolling with me. So you got to, I don't want to give it away what she put on there, but you got to check it out and follow her. Samara, it's been an honor talking to you, my friend. Looking forward to seeing you in San Francisco, up there at the tech. And you take care of yourself, my dear.
You too, Paul. It's been great. Thank you for having me on.
Anytime, my friend.
Okay.
Don't forget to register for the TechConNEXT. Go to Black Enterprise's website. And when you register for the event, make sure you use discount code TechZone. Special discount that the folks did for TechZone listeners and viewers out there. We want to see you out there. Come and check out this amazing event. And don't forget to follow me on my social media. I may have a special link or a special code that you can really get the hookup for this event. So Again, we thank the beautiful Samara Lynn for joining us, the Steve Savania from Audio Technica joining us, talking about the innovation of the microphone, how it's still the way it is, sounding great. So until next time, don't forget, next week we'll have a tech giveaway, sharing some love with the listeners out there who helped us reach a milestone. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon. Remember to love those who are unable to love themselves and turn someone's frown upside down to a smile. Until next time, talk to you soon.